Hello, family. Yeah, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm making some meat pies today, and I thought to share a detailed recipe with you all. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I make my delicious meat pie filling, how I make my dough, and also how I bake this to perfection. Here are the ingredients you will be needing for your pie crust: all-purpose flour, cold salted or unsalted butter, cold water, grated or whole nutmeg. You would also need one whole egg to seal the pies and also to brush the top of the pies. And don't forget, you also need some salt to season your dough. To begin, in a large bowl, add your sifted flour. Also go in with your freshly grated nutmeg. I'll leave the measurement in the description. Add your salt and mix everything together. If you are aiming for a very flaky meat pie crust, then go in with your cold butter. You would also want to cut your butter into tiny pieces so it's easier to mix into your flour. Now use your fingertips to gently rub the butter into the flour. This step is very important because the palm of your hand will tend to melt the butter. And so gently use your fingertips to rub the butter into the flour until it looks and feels like rough breadcrumbs or sand. And do not worry if you still see some small butter pieces in there. It's a good thing because that's what will give us that buttery flakes when the meat pie bakes. Now poke a hole in the center of your mix and add in cold water gradually. Add your water a little at a time. Mix gently with your hand or a spatula. We are not kneading the dough. We are only trying to bring the dough together until it forms a soft ball. You want your dough to come together but not sticky. Once the dough holds together nicely, you want to divide this into two and wrap it. Chill this in the fridge for 30 to 45 minutes. The rest period will allow the flour to hydrate and also let the gluten in the flour to relax. The butter in the dough also firms back up, and this will ensure that rolling is easier and our crust is flaky. And while our dough is chilling, let's make the meat pie filling. You would need about 500 grams of minced meat, one medium potato, peeled and diced into tiny pieces, one carrot also peeled and diced into tiny pieces, one large onion finely chopped. You also need about 1 tablespoon of curry powder, 1 teaspoon of all-purpose seasoning, salt to taste, and some oil to fry. You would also be needing some cornstarch, which we'll be mixing with water to form the slurry. The slurry is what will thicken our filling and also give it that rich texture that we want. Start by heating your oil in a pan over medium heat. Add your chopped onions and let them cook until they are soft and translucent. Now add in your minced meat, break it up with your spoon, let it cook until it's no longer pink. Now go in with your curry powder and all-purpose seasoning and a pinch of salt. Stir well, give this about 2 to 3 minutes to cook with the meat and allow the flavors to marry. Now go in with your diced potatoes and half of your carrots. We'll add the remaining half of the carrots much later. Now add a little water and stir again. Cover the pot and allow this to simmer for about 7 to 8 minutes or until the potatoes are tender but not mushy. Once your potatoes are tender, here comes our cornstarch slurry. You want to mix 1 tablespoon of cornstarch with 2 tablespoons of water. Pour this in and stir. The corn slurry will allow the mixture to thicken and not runny. We want a slightly sticky feeling that holds together nicely inside the pie. Add the remaining carrots and let this cook for another 2 minutes. Turn off the heat and let your filling cool completely. If the filling is hot, it will melt your dough and make everything messy. And so do make sure to allow this to cool completely. Now let's move on to the fun part. This is the part I love the most, which is shaping the pies. Take your dough out of the fridge, cut it into 2 equal chunks to make rolling easier. Lightly flour your work surface and your rolling pin as well. Roll out the dough to about 1/4 inch thickness, not too thin, or your dough will tear. Use a round cutter or any round object you have available. Even a bowl will work. Use this to cut your dough into circles. Add a tablespoon of filling in the center. Don't overfill, you need room to seal your pies. Crack your egg into a bowl. This is what you are going to be using to seal your pies. Brush the edges of your pie with a beaten egg and fold one edge over the other. Press the edges gently with your fingers and then seal with a fork. Sealing with a fork makes it look pretty and your filling is very secured in your pie. Alternatively, you can use a pie cutter for this step. This step is for all my family members on here who struggle with using the bowl method to cut out their pie shapes. Just like we did for the initial method, roll out your dough on a flat surface. And once your dough is flat, you can use the pie cutter to cut out circles. Or you can also place your dough in the pie cutter, just like I did. Scoop a spoonful of filling into the center. One good thing about the cutter is that it gives you the right surface area, and so you know exactly how much filling needs to go in there. Fold this over into a half moon shape and press the edges together. Once you press the edges together, the pie cutter cuts out a very nice and neatly shaped pie. Using a pie cutter honestly makes the whole process faster and cleaner, especially if you are making a big batch for your family or for parties or even as a business. Before we even touch our trays, we are going to preheat our oven to 180 degrees Celsius. Why? Because I find out that is the perfect setting for your pies to be cooked through. Now let's talk about the egg wash. This is what transforms your meat pie from a regular looking one to one that looks like it's coming from a professional bakery. You don't need to crack open a new egg. Use the one that was previously used in sealing the pies. And once you are done coating the surface of your pie with the egg wash, proceed to poke in some holes on all of your pies with a fork. This step prevents steam from being trapped in the pie, which could end up cracking or make the filling leak out of your pies. And once you are done, transfer your pie to the preheated oven and bake for a solid 30 or 40 minutes. Our meat pies are done now and they absolutely look amazing. At the end of baking, the top of your meat pie should look golden brown and shiny and the bottom very firm. Let your pies cool for about 10 minutes before serving. Yes, I know it's tempting, but cooling your pies allows the crust to set properly. Just look at this beauty. The crust is flaky and the filling moist and flavorful. You can enjoy these hot, warm, or even better the next day. It is the perfect snack for parties. Enjoy this with some hot chocolate or your favorite beverage. If you've been following this recipe up until here, then please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing recipes. Comment if you want me to share a chicken pie or fish roll recipe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!